All right. Welcome back, my regular viewers, listeners, and watchers. And of course, if you happen to be here for the very first time, welcome. Before I go any further, my name is Rahul George, India's premier iHypnosis life healer coach and your personal guide. And of course, for all of you regular viewers, listeners, and watchers of our podcast, the iHypnosis Coaching Journeys, you know that this is a podcast that has been created and curated for you, especially if you are a coach, if you're a healer, or maybe you're on that journey of personal growth and personal development, and you're looking for that inspiration. Something that we do here on the iHypnosis Life Coaching Journeys is curating stories of truly amazing coaches and healers, people who have begun that journey, and today they're at a point in their life where they have taken their message, maybe it was something that they were dealing with in their life, into something far more transformative, not only in their own lives but in the lives of others. And we are, of course, right now in season 2. We kicked off last year, and in 2025 at this point we are curating more and more journeys of truly amazing healers and coaches. And I have in our midst somebody really amazing, and in a few moments, you'll understand why I am so kicked that I got to meet Maria not too long ago, literally 24 hours. And I think that is one of the most amazing things of what this podcast does. So, of course, Maria, this is your cue. You can turn on your camera. And as I was saying, the podcast gives me that luxury of meeting some truly amazing people. In fact, when we talk about a digital world, I am right now sitting away from the studio in Udaipur, and Maria is sitting on the other side of the pond in UK. So at this point, so firstly, Maria, welcome.
Thank
So
you.
good to have you
Thank you, Rahul.
here. So, as I was saying, this podcast, in season 1, there were a lot of people who I had met in the coaching fraternity, in the coaching and healing space. And now in season 2, we are, of course, reaching out to people who, through our, network, and shout out to Debasmita, of course, who is tirelessly working behind the scenes in the role of
Yes.
producer on this podcast. And Devasmita is the one who connected us. And I'm really looking forward to, not only hearing your story, in your own words, but I know that your story will inspire so many people who are at a very important stage in their life. I'm kind of teasing and hinting at what we're about to talk about, but I know that it's not just only your niche or your what you do, but it's just who you are that I know will inspire a lot of people, not only right now, people who may be watching this live, or as time goes by, people who will be watching this in time to come. I know that your story will inspire them, and it will give them that much needed belief in self. And maybe we'll start there. If you could tell us a little bit about, and before we do that, one more time, I just want to invite you in to this podcast. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about, what do you do? Like if someone said, so Maria, what do you do?
Okay, I have retired. It's now 3 years, and currently a retirement
Mhm.
lifestyle coach. Having said that, I also coach people who are into
Mm.
non-retirement. The reason being that I keep
Right.
doing a lot of workshops and all. And over a period of time, it's been a journey from where I started out almost 8 years back, 5 years
Mhm.
into prior retirement, and now 3 years post retirement. So it's been a long journey, of course, and anything that we start is always a journey to live with and enjoy. So that's been where I am right now. And I kind of meet people of different kind, and wherever I am able to help, I do that in my own way of the work that I'm doing right now.
Mm.
So
So
if
maybe let me start where you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you let me, I can take you through a little story how I reached here. It wasn't that easy.
Mm.
Mm. Because that's very important. The journey from
Mhm.
there to here is very important. Very often, I have been in that space myself when I would compare myself to the other people, in the celebrity types. And I said, oh, they're
Mm.
there, they're here. And I always never felt happy
Mm.
about myself till I realized and I took this journey. So this happened about 2016, uh,
Mm.
New Year resolution, January. And I was doing my New Year resolution and I
Right.
realized I have 35 years already finished, 35 years of work service. I said, my God, and 5 years left.
Wow.
That's all to retire. And I said, my God, like I felt a little disappointed though, a new year. But I said,
Mm.
"No, let me go and take some help of how do I proceed with my work starting, uh, you know, uh, uh, to plan for my retirement. And I went and met my coach and my HR head, and
Mm.
he said, there were two things he asked me. What is your net worth?
Mm.
So I was like scratching my head, net worth.
Mm.
I would do some investments and all here and there, but net worth was just outside the purview of my, life. And he said, what will you do after you retire? That is, how will you spend your time? I told him,
Mm.
now I'm working for 12, 14 hours. I'm going to help the NGOs. The minute I said that, he said, do you know your salary will stop after you retire,
Right.
but your expenses will continue. How will you manage that?
Mm.
And
Mm.
that, shook the earth under my feet. And I
Mm.
said, my God, I never thought about it in this sense. I thought retirement would
Right.
be like enjoying life. And that is what
Mm.
these, probing questions took me off. Then immediately I went and started with financial planning,
Mm.
which is very important. And in my course of last 8 years,
Mm.
I've noticed people do a lot of financial planning, which is important, Rahul, but they never think of how they'll spend their time.
Mm.
And that is where I
Right.
started work on. So I, to cut a long story short, financial planning first 3 years, and the next 2 years went into spending my time. Now, in time, I would say
Mm.
me and a lot of other colleagues who retire, we come with years of experience. Yeah, we
Right.
have that wisdom. How can we utilize that 20, 30, 40 years of work experience and, help other
Mm.
people? So that was my part. Then I realized at that last 2 years that I was working, my one of my office colleagues, she said, Maria, we want to help the young people do well personally and professionally. I said, wow, I
Mm.
never, nobody thought about me like this. But it's so nice when people
Right.
think about young people. And I said, yes, I
Mm.
did everything. And I realized that's the point. I realized that I was lacking coaching skills. I did everything
Uh,
to set up that entire space. And being an HR
mm.
head, I did it. And I realized needed to upskill towards my retirement planning. I went and did that. And while I finished, almost completed my coaching with Arfin Khan, uh,
Mm.
he met me just once or twice, but he gave me this insight. He says, you have a
Mm.
very inspiring story. Why don't you write a book? And I said, me, my God, no. You know why, Rahul? I compared myself to the authors of the
Yeah.
world.
Yep. Yep.
And I said, I'm so little. So my self belief in myself was like very low. And
Mm.
through this coaching journey, I I moved the next level. And I
Right.
listened to what he said. And that's the time I went and said, okay, I will write. I'll take me 2 years. And you won't believe the universe
Mm.
was so conspired for me. And lockdown came in.
Oh.
I said, yes, let me write my script
Mm.
during the travel time in the mornings, 1 hour travel.
Uh,
If you know Mumbai,
yeah.
from Vasai to Bandra, 1 hour.
Wow.
That's the time I said, let me write whatever I can. And you
Mm.
won't believe what I told myself for 2 years took me 10 months to write my script. And I was ready with my
Amazing.
script. And this is something that always, when I start something new, I'm very scared very worried whether will I be a failure or whether I'll be successful. But this story, book writing journey, puts gives me that perspective that no, I
Mm,
can succeed if I start with it. And this has always taken me ahead in whatever I have ventured out post retirement. So that's where my
mm,
book journey came into. And then another thing that happened why retirement lifestyle was, well, no, during the lockdown also, I was able to practice my coaching skills. So I had, students coming to me during that.
mm,
And so online, I was doing the coaching. And when very specifically for retirement lifestyle, I was in the last year of my work at NIIT, and I had
mm,
to go and help a colleague of mine as an HR head to help her close her retirement,
right.
process. When I
Mm,
met her, I said, I've come to help you today to help you with the
mm,
process. And we have 3 months to go.
mm.
Then she said, I said, do you know you're retiring in 3 months? She said, what are you saying? I said, yes,
Wow.
I'm here to help you. She says, I didn't know that, Maria ma'am. I said, yes. She said, are you sure? I said,
Wow.
yes, 101%. And again, she asked me, and I saw her self confidence come down, Rahul. That's when I realized
Mm,
that here was a colleague, and I was already had planned for my retirement, what I'm going to do.
mm,
My final year of retirement. And I said, I know I need to help her. And I told her, okay, don't worry. I'm here. I'm here for the next 2 days. And this was in a different city. I helped her, and she kind of
mm,
got in touch with her family. Her family was so sweet, very supportive. She says, don't worry, my pension is coming. We'll
mm.
manage. And then
Wow.
she took action for herself is something that I loved about her. And then
Mm,
the lockdown came, she took action, and planned for her own retirement journey what she's going to do. And I was so happy with this incident, though sad,
mm,
but I realized this is where
mm.
people need help. And that's where
Yeah.
my journey of planning for
Oh,
people to
amazing.
reinvent their retirement lifestyle came in.
Wow.
And I thought, no, this is something that I must do for my community. And even if it is
Mm,
non-retirement, I do it. But this is where I felt the help was most retired. And when I was doing little more research, I realized, yes, how to plan your time is very important because
yeah.
we have a lot of friends, Rahul. When we are working, the minute our jobs end, we lose our identity of VP,
Mm,
GM,
yes.
head, and all that. We lose our friends because our friends are busy, uh, busy with their own work. And I'm
Mm,
that person who used to meet every person in HR, being in HR.
mm,
So I was very closely connected to them. And I
mm,
realized in the first month, I'm not able to talk to a lot of my colleagues. I would call
mm,
each person once a day.
mm,
I said, no, my connect was getting lost. And I said, no, I'll keep in touch with them. And I found my way how to keep in touch with them. And I'm still in touch with them
mm. Wow.
without bothering them, without bothering them. And I think these are the two, three things that people need help and support to work
Mm,
on when they
true.
move out of their retirement from their office. And this is where I
Mm,
wanted to share this, and I keep sharing this with a lot of people as to why it's important to plan for your retirement.
right.
So, this is my story from where I
Amazing.
was, where I am. And even while I did retire after that, I was doing my learning happened much more. And I was a learner at
Mm,
NIIT because at NIIT technologies used to keep changing. So we would learn all
right.
the technologies. And that one thing that kept within me. So I did a speaking program. That's where
Mm.
coach there said, let's do a co-authoring of books. So we did. I co-authored a book
Oh,
with
nice.
50 Indian authors. And that was my first experience. That too in finance is something that I'm
Mm.
I'm scared about. I'm not scared, but the kind of chapter that I wrote, that story
Mm,
is so inspiring because wealth is something that we create from the time we are small, and all that is built in by our families, because Those days there were no banks, so we had a piggy bank
Yeah.
that we used to create
True.
one, and my mother was the best person behind this. So when it
Mm.
would get filled, she would break the piggy bank, see the money collected, and she would make something gold for us. And that was the way
Oh,
we
sweet.
created our wealth. And when we got married, all of us carried our gold
Mm.
and went away. So this is
Mm.
the second book came up, Destiny by
Mm-hmm.
Design. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I started my master class or reinventing retirement lifestyle, I my
Wow.
colleague saw me doing this co-authoring book and said, "Why don't we also co-author book with our community?" So here we had 19 co-authors
Mm.
across the globe, which was absolutely
Mm.
and I said, what I learned
Wow.
with Amandeep in that program, let me implement it here for my masterclass.
Mm.
And we had authors from Sri Lanka, Malaysia, New Zealand, Sweden, Norway,
Wow.
yeah,
Mm.
and India, of course. And the beauty of this masterclass and book writing
Mm.
was we found all the skills that were amongst ourselves in our community. We
Right.
don't have to
Yeah.
go out to get the skill, and that's the beauty of
Mm.
mastermind or a masterclass in our workshops. So
Beautiful.
this has been my story as far as my
Yeah.
journey to where I have
Yeah.
come to. It's not been
I'm.
easy.
I'm.
Yeah.
So we'll actually, as they say, double click on that for a moment.
Yes.
Even though I'm very tempted to sort of go down that rabbit hole of community and, as you called it, masterclass or
Yes.
mastermind. But we will definitely get to that in a moment,
Sure.
because I know that is something that's going to make a huge difference for people who are in any, as I say, any shape and form, as a coach, a healer, or someone who's seeking that personal growth, personal development. So we'll get to that in a moment,
Sure.
but maybe we'll kind of flip the script a little bit. And as you said, your story, there were like these pivotal moments in over the last couple of years that kind of made you realize that, okay, um, I really need to not only do this for myself, but I need to do this for others,
Yes.
right? um, but I sense that that didn't start in these, let's say, the last 8 or 10 years. There's probably, reflections of this from way back.
Yes.
And one of the reasons why we do the podcast is to help other people who are on the journey notice that, oh, okay, if this was part of Maria's story from 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they're able to kind of do that self reflection as well. So, what you shared right now, there would have been some sort of a reflection of this before. So, is there anything, any story or any moment from the past that kind of reminds you of what you experienced in over the last 8 or 10 years had already sort of been brewing for some time?
Yeah. So I'm by personality, I'm a helper.
Hmm.
So the minute there is somebody who says, I want something, I do something, I never think twice. I just go out of my
Right.
way and help in any way. It doesn't
Hmm.
have to be professionally or personally, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
Right.
that kind of an attitude, I've always gone out and done things and
Hmm.
experimented it for myself. And I've had a
Hmm.
lot of new learnings.
Hmm.
Yes.
So when you say helper, right? There's it's almost like not in the conventional sense of an archetype, but if you sort of go back in time, you probably have one of those earliest memories when you realize, oh, this is who I am. Is there something on those lines that you'd love to share with us, that I know will help others as well?
Yeah, when I was in school, right?
Hmm.
My teacher used to always complain to my mother, your daughter is average.
Hmm.
And I carried that thing for
Wow.
years, for almost 35 years of my life.
Wow.
And I'm the kind who was gotten to being an introvert. And I said, no,
Hmm.
I'm not good. I'm this, I'm that. How can I do this? How can I do that? And I always did everything behind the scene, never had the courage to come out and do things.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
this particular aspect of mine came much later in life.
Hmm.
And I've always judged myself with other people. I've always,
Hmm.
had a very low self esteem. And the minute
Hmm.
I was able to get out of it, I realized that
Hmm.
I had a lot of potential. And a lot of my seniors at office realized now
Hmm. Hmm.
that there was so much in me that never came out when I was working.
Right. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna sort of shuttle. Well, I love what you shared, and thank you for being so open and vulnerable to share something like this. Um, so this is one end of the spectrum, which was, you know, a moment in time way back when you heard it said in a certain way that it kind of stayed with you.
Yeah.
What was that pivotal moment that unlocked it when you kind of finally let it go?
Okay, this happened when I was doing my coaching program. There
Mm,
was
wow.
a particular chapter which says, what is that defining moment in your life?
Mm, mm,
And this is where we had to do a little bit of homework. What are
mm,
those moments in your childhood, in your adulthood? So
mm,
this is where that entire thing opened up, and I think my coach did a fantastic job
mm,
of helping me see myself from where I am and where I
mm,
came from to where
mm,
I could go, and opened up
mm.
a new world for me. That's where the book writing journey is very, very
Right.
special for me. So this is
Mm,
the part that took me off.
amazing. Amazing. Um, Nowadays when you meet people and you're sharing your stories, uh, what reaction has surprised you the most, like when you share something like this and they're like, oh, I never thought this was your story, Maria, because that's my story too. Like, have you had any moments like that where uh, just by sharing it has created that unlock for somebody else?
Yeah, there are times that they're not times, but there was a moment when I was associated with my community, the secretarial group, and
Hmm.
I've been a past president. I am a past president there. So they got to know me at about my life only
Right.
after they read an interview of me
Oh,
after some some years of being associated together. So I've
right.
been the kind of person who never talks about personal life when it comes to office. I come
Hmm.
to office, do my
Hmm.
work because I enjoy the company of the people. I enjoy my work, and I'm very happy. It doesn't matter what
Hmm.
happens at home. So that's when they
Hmm.
realize that, yes, I've had a very troublesome life, but that did not let it work on my career or my life ahead. But I learned to carry it with me, because sometimes we break down,
Hmm.
you know, and there are times it can affect your career.
Hmm.
So it didn't happen that way. And then when they got to know me from the other side, they realized, okay, here was Maria, whom we knew
Hmm.
was very different from the one that she went through. Yeah.
Right.
So this went.
Wow. Wow. So, yeah, I love that. I mean, it's, the fact that people make assumptions
Yeah.
about us, but when you share like this, it literally like breaks that mold, right?
Yes.
Um, so let's fast forward to, as you said, you've experienced the power of community, power of the mastermind. Um, Share with us a little bit about what that experience has been for you, because a lot of times, at least, and this is definitely, I've seen this over the last 2 decades. I mean, I was fortunate to begin at a certain point, way before it became popular to be a coach or a mentor or be in the healing space. But a lot of times people in this space try to sort of uh, manage by themselves, right? But you've been fortunate that you have you know had that benefit of being in a community, being in a mastermind, or being part of a group of like-minded people. So what are some of those experiences that you'd like to share that will inspire others to say, you know what, maybe I was going about it the wrong way, where I've been sort of trying to find my path on my own versus being part of a community.
Yeah. So, as far as I see the masterminds that I have attended, and I do continue to
Mm,
attend because it helps me
mm,
in a big way and help my own mastermind as well. So, when you are in a
mm,
mastermind, uh, you're not good in one person is not good in everything. For example, me,
mm,
my social media was zero. I learned
mm,
social media only after I retired, and I started picking up with things with groups like
mm,
this, masterminds.
mm,
So in my mastermind, I had somebody who was very good in social media. I had one lady who was very good in coordination, and one lady who was very good in sales, another person who was very
mm.
good in publishing. So that's how all these
Nice.
creativities put together helps, and it's a collaboration.
Mm,
So what this lady who's good in mass media and communication, she is the one who trained all of us in a masterclass
mm.
on Instagram, Facebook,
Nice.
Canva, and she made us do little exercises like creating a a birthday post and
Right.
sending it to your near and dear one, whoever's birthday was there at that time,
Mm,
and we shared it on the group, and that encouragement, all
yeah.
most of them were in their 50s. It helped them so
Mm,
much to come out of their comfort zone and learn something new and say,
yeah.
yes, this is something that I want to do. So
Yeah.
so she helped all of us. Then she also
Mm,
helped us how to kind of face the camera, how to take
mm,
a video, how to share in front of the camera. I mean, these were basic things. So that, and
yeah.
even Zoom at that time was very new for them
Mm,
after COVID. So how can you communicate
mm,
with your family, on Zoom?
right.
And
Right.
this helped them quite a bit because in a mastermind,
Mm,
each one, as I said, have a talent, and if we can use the talent, and that's why they felt very
yeah.
much cohesive in this group, very much at home,
Mm,
very much close
mm,
together, closely knitted, and built that bond in this community. And any community, if
nice.
you see, it's like that.
Mm, awesome. So I have a very two questions actually that are very closely linked to your topic. Say 5 years ago, I'll sort of hazard a guess that nobody would have either thought of becoming, especially in India, thought of becoming a coach in this um, specific niche that you have chosen, right? So one is that decision. Of course, you had your reasons, and that sort of like um, cemented the idea that okay, this is what I really need to do to help other people.
Yes.
But people on the flip side, who are out there, who are moving closer and closer to retirement, like how do they react when this is what you say that this is what I do? Like I'm a retirement coach. Like how do they respond to that?
One is they say, wow, because because all they know is retirement means money and easy life. But
Right.
when they converse and realize that it's more than retirement, it's like
Mm,
you are moving from one career to the next.
mm.
That
Oh,
gives
nice.
them a perspective. And when they get
Nice.
to know that what they have, can they
Mm,
serve the community and
mm,
contribute to the community in a way
mm.
that people will always remember them as a legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us can
Yeah.
contribute in many ways. Whatever we
Mm,
have, we can give only what we
mm,
have, and this is the time if we
mm.
can give, and that will make us feel satisfied that we have a
Yeah.
purposeful life now after
Mm.
all the running around we've done for our children, for our office, for our
True.
families and communities. You have other
Yeah.
people who are there to seek that support
Mm,
that you can give them, and that is what
mm.
they get to know more about.
Nice. Amazing. So that was one question that I had. The second is, when you look at, and like you said, because of being part of your group, you've learned to look at technology in a different way, whether it was creating a greeting card on using Canva, or posting it. how do people today who were, let's say, maybe for the last 15, 20, maybe even longer, they've been on a certain track, and now when they meet you and they realize that, okay, it's an opportunity to take their skills and, like, create a second career, so to speak, right? How do they typically respond when you talk about technology to them?
So today I feel people are open to technologies.
Mm,
In a way, ever since it's been COVID, complete,
mm,
people are open. It's just that they need that helping hand. So I also meet people through my podcast on YouTube who have inspiring
mm,
stories. So, I have to help them with their Zoom background, sound, everything. And
mm.
once they are comfortable doing that, they feel they've achieved something in life.
Yeah, amazing.
At this age, for them to do all this is something new
Yeah,
they have learned. And you can see that vibrant energy in them that, ha, maine
right,
kuch
right.
kiya aaj. Different.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that, and it's just that hand
amazing.
holding that they need.
Yeah. So I have a slightly prickly question to ask you.
Yeah.
Right? You said, like, you talked about, being in the HR domain,
Right.
and now you're doing something that is related but different,
Yeah.
right? How is it? How do you now connect? How do you? Or what's the difference that you feel that's between the two of them? One is where you're doing it in a certain way for these last so many years,
Yeah.
and now you're approaching HR from a possibly a different way of being. Right? How does that feel for you?
So I feel very happy because I'm still connected with people,
Mm,
and there it was more to do with the corporate, the
mm,
employees, and I was very connected with their families
yeah.
because we used to have little events for them. So I
Mm,
know them very well. Whereas here, there are people whom I don't know at all.
right.
So it's like you reinvent your your journey with them new. And what is
Mm,
inspires me is they come with their inspiring stories,
mm,
and each of their stories are so touching to me. So
mm.
up to where they are and where they want to go is where, it helps me, kind of gives me that enthusiasm to help them move ahead in life still, because
Right,
the journeys just ended in a corporate way, or ended because they may be homemakers and retired and children are all married and away.
right.
But how
Mm,
can they utilize this time is something that,
mm,
we get connected. So it's a little slightly different, but very inspiring and enthusiastic journey with me.
right. Amazing. Um, so, oops. Okay, there we're back. Right. So, like I said, the intention of this podcast is to obviously to inspire people that it doesn't matter what you were doing or what avatar you were in.
Yes.
Maybe that was, for some people it's their first job and they've been on a certain track, or maybe, they went through sort of ups and downs and they kind of like found their way and they continued on up to a certain point, and now, maybe time has given them the opportunity to reinvent themselves. So I'm sure they've taken a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of notes from what you shared. Um, so two points here. Today when you work with people, like, say if somebody reaches out to you and says, Maria, I need your help, right? What do you typically do? Do you work in a sort of one to many, like in a group coaching format, or do you work with people one on one?
So I have both, Rahul. It depends on, some
Mm.
people are not very comfortable in a group.
Mm.
In a group,
Mm.
you learn a lot. But there are some people who'd like to do a one-on-one as well. So I cater to both. So it depends on the need of the person.
Mm. And typically, what do you like if someone came to you, like, what would you do? Is there like a sequence of like some people have a program, like a level one, level two, level three,
Yes.
like, just to sort of simplify the journey.
Yeah.
What how do you how have you framed that?
Okay. So I do a workshop for 3 days, and then
Mm.
I get on to a master class for 5 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that gives
Okay.
them time to plan, to take it
Mm.
at their own space, and be comfortable with it also.
Okay. And what are some of the areas that you cover
Okay.
in the, say, the 5 weeks?
Sorry. So financial planning, definite, because
Mm,
without that you
mm,
can't set your goals. What
mm,
is it that you want to do from your
mm.
okay? So
Nice.
life goes. So there is, so for example, the wheel of life. It's in all areas of life. We can't
Mm,
just focus on
mm,
finance or health. So finance,
mm,
health, and wellness. Because if you're not
nice.
well emotionally and mentally,
Mm,
it reflects on your physical health. Thereby,
mm,
it reflects on your wealth,
mm.
because then you'll start paying the doctors if you're not well physically.
Right, right.
Then on your social life, spiritual life. Now, spiritual can be
Mm,
going to the temple, or spiritual can be doing something for someone. It all depends
mm,
on what spiritual life means for you. And
right.
finally, contribution or volunteering.
Mm,
So we work on for all five areas of life.
mm,
So
mm,
it's like a wheel, it's balanced.
mm. Amazing, amazing. Uh, Slightly different question. How does or how has your family responded to this new avatar of you?
Oh, yes. My God, I've been one of those very quiet, uh,
Mm,
introvert person suddenly to come out like this. For them, yes,
yeah,
it's been a different journey altogether, and they've accepted it now ever since
nice.
my first book, because that was the first.
Mm,
In lockdown, I had imagined a launch in a hall, but it happened on YouTube.
right.
And when they saw this from wherever they were, they realized that this one is all out to have fun. And I was that very naughty one when I was small. So
Mm.
they've accepted the fact that this is what I can do. And I have a very happy, good family. We're a sibling of five, so we enjoy that
Oh wow.
bonding.
Are you in the middle or are
Middle,
you
middle,
on?
middle.
Okay, amazing. So as we start to land the plane, as they say,
Yes.
just a couple of questions. Um, what, like, based on your experience and the journey that you've been on, what would you like to share with others who are maybe they're just starting off on this track of discovering, a new avatar in themselves? Based on your experiences, what would you like to share with them?
So one is, Rahul, that very important is you must have a mentor or a coach to help you. Because had I not taken a decision to
Mm,
be there, and I still continue to have one or two of them, I would have never reached at the level the way at the level I am. Because alone I can't do. Or you have a
mm,
community where you grow together. It's either this or that. But you definitely need somebody who will handhold you. Very important. It's like when I'm unwell, when I need help, I go to a
mm,
doctor. A doctor will take me to the right path of getting well. Likewise, if you have a finance issue, you go to a financial consultant. So, like this, you need somebody who will help you, and
mm,
very, very important, whom you trust will take you along the journey, because it's not easy.
right. Mm, mm, amazing. Is there any program that you want to talk about right now that you're maybe currently doing, which it's like basically getting the word out? So is there something that you would like people to know about, whether they happen to be watching this now or maybe in the near future, something that um, will help them, whether it's them, the people who are listening to this, or whether they're like, oh, I know somebody who will benefit from this? Is there a program that you'd like to talk about right
Yeah, so I have this reinventing retirement lifestyle workshop which I'm doing.
now?
Currently, I have
Mm,
taken a short break for a personal reason.
mm, mm,
Uh, so soon I will be launching my next workshop, and thereafter
mm,
the masterclass. So I will be getting onto that journey. Just now I'm on a little holiday,
mm. Nice,
and I
nice.
will keep talking
Okay.
about it in my social media handles and things like that.
Mm, mm. So speaking of, your links will be available, for
Yes.
people who are watching this as a recording,
Yes, absolutely.
so they can definitely reach out to you
Be in touch.
and follow you on your social handles. And like I said, this podcast is an opportunity. I won't say it's an excuse; it's an opportunity to meet like this. And I'm sure we will have more conversations, and we may be in different parts of the country or the world, but
Yes.
I'm sure we will have more of these conversations, and this is just the first of many. So firstly, thank you for taking the time to come and to share your life story and to inspire people. And someone said this, and it's so true. It's like we don't know who's watching this at what point in their life, right? And
Yes.
sometimes it's just that one innocuous statement that you might have just said in the moment, in sort of in the flow, and that can literally create the unlock for somebody else. So as one of the reasons why, even though we're sort of in transit, since we had decided to do the pod, I said, let's just do it, and may this go out into the world and change the world, and
True.
help people out there. Yeah. So
Thank you so
once
much
again, Maria.
for the invite, Rahul. I mean, it's so inspiring to hear from you as well, and I hope I've you know given enough, if shared enough of myself to the people around the world,
Yeah,
and I
I'm
hope
sure
can hear
it
from
will,
more.
and no, it will, and I'm sure at some point you'll meet a person who said, I happened to watch your interview, sometime back, and just something the way you said it, it just like clicked for me. So
Yes, true.
and as they say, it's like you've written two books already. You've authored two books, so it's like there's
Yeah, I have them
many
here.
more to you. And yes, awesome, right? So may
And
it
this is the
go
third.
out, and may many more. Go ahead. Oh,
So
nice. Okay. Ooh, nice, nice, amazing,
thank you.
amazing. So as I said, the links are there, so people can definitely find you online
Sure.
and follow Maria and all the adventures that you're on now, and of course in the future. So Maria, once again, thank you so much
Thank you,
for taking
Rahul.
the time. And for those of you who are watching, you reached this point. Of course, thank you for watching, and you can definitely reach out to Maria. And as always, remember to live your purpose. God bless, and Maria, wish you all the best in the time ahead. Take care. Bye
All the
bye.
best.